Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Gabe coming back at you with another video. In today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the cable end. I'm gonna show you guys that pretty cool tool that I got that crimps the wires, save you some money. And if you guys haven't watched my previous videos on the problems that I've been having with sputtering, watch them. But I'm gonna go ahead and test the fuel pressure. So we're gonna try to determine if it's the fuel pump that's not bringing up the temperature. I'm sorry, not temperature, pressure. Either it's low or it's high, or it might be the pressure regulator. But um, I have a tool. I'll show you guys in a bit. Stay tuned.
Like, share, subscribe.
So this is what we're gonna replace right here. As you guys can see, it's kind of like at an angle. That's because I had to drill it. So it worked. We got home. This is your first step. So I traced that wire. That wire is the one that, this wire that comes up here is the wire that's connected to the alternator. So you want to de-energize the system. So on mine, it has this. So what it'll do, it'll ground that wire because you're going to be messing with the wire and you don't want it to touch anything because that particular wire right there is not fused. Okay, so the first step is we're going to go ahead and undo this cable. The reason why you want to energize it, I mean, I got a short one, but if this, let's just say this is a little bit longer and it touches ground, you're going to mess it up because it's not fused, and I mean you can really mess up the truck. So you know, take a little bit of safety precautions with your money maker, you know what I mean? Check that out. The little washer broke. It's a good thing I got some here in the truck. Cable ties that are securing it. This stud was the one that I was talking about that's not replaceable, so I didn't want to over tighten this stud and then it be a problem. So now what we're gonna do is this wire is not long enough, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my grinder and try to cut that piece, because if I cut the wire it's gonna be even shorter and then it's no longer gonna reach. So I mean, if it was a little bit longer, then I would have probably been able to do that. But as it is, it barely reaches. Check that out, the way they did it. So I'm gonna just cut this and I can shrink wrap this. Okay, so due to the fact that I don't want to shorten it out, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this. To try to let it lose tension. All right, sometimes with a little bit of force right here, you might be able to get it. Yep, pop open. There we go. So we can yank this off. Come on. Come on. No, let me go ahead and cut this other side. And then we'll get it to go. Power tools, love them. You guys can see why. Just makes things a lot easier. Imagine having to cut that by hand. Well, you don't really need to imagine, you're just not gonna cut it. Come on, get out of there. Get out of there. So there it is, guys. We just cut it into 2 pieces so we can get it out. So check this out. I got this at Amazon. It's just a kit with a whole bunch of these fittings, and then you just find which one goes in there, which on this particular one, I think it's gonna be a 2 5/16. So yeah, that definitely fits there. It'll say it right there, 2 5/16. So it's 2 gauge and the hole is 5/16. So let's see if this fits. Yep. Yep, it's definitely that one. Okay, so let me go get, I'm gonna go get some shrink wrap so we can put it there, and then we'll go ahead and crimp that bad boy on. Okay, so this is heat shrink. So we're gonna go ahead and try to put it here in the wire. These little thingies are a little bit tricky because you gotta get it just right so that it can go in here. Come on, baby. Come on. There you go. Now don't get out. Okay, I might have done it a little too long, but that's okay. We can cut a piece off of it. Oh, then we're gonna put this bigger one. This one goes around like so, and then you shrink wrap it. You heat it up. I'll show you guys. But you want to put all this stuff in there first, beforehand, so that you have it good to go. Oh yeah. So we're gonna have it like that. Bam. Let me go get my tool, and I'll show you how that works. So this is the tool. And these are the little clampers. It'll tell you right there. So this is 208WG. So you just put them in like so. Put this little bar thing on top. Now they sell another one. I'll go ahead and put a picture of it up there, that you smack it down with the hammer. But as you guys can see here, there's really not a flat surface. I would really have to take the whole wire off to do this. But with this one, you just put this bad boy in there and you're good to go. You know what I mean? So let's get this bad boy in here. Let's see here. Just like so. Let's go and put it to work. Okay, get in there. See if I can get this done right. Oh man, I can't see. I cannot see what I'm doing. Ah, oh, great. God dang it. It's just the wire is just too short, man. There we go. There we go. Come on. Oh, really? It's not that tight? What? It says for 2 gauge. That's definitely a 2 gauge, all right. That is definitely not too tight. Let's see. Okay, well, then we'll put the 1 gauge on there, because that didn't seem to do the trick, so we'll just we'll put the one before it. All right, let's see if that did it. Come on, get out of there. Let's see if that did it. She's on there now. Okay, let me go get my little torch. Got my little torch. Just a little cheap torch. Got the butane. Let's go ahead and put some butane in here. Just a little bit like that. We got fire. Probably can't catch it in the camera, but it's on. So now all you do is you just heat your heat sheet up so it sticks on there. Just like so. And we get our big one. Like that. Like you just want to you know what I mean? You don't want to hold it on there because it'll burn the plastic or whatever, and you'll see it shrink down on in there. All right, that's enough. So just as added safety, I'm gonna go ahead and just tape it. We're already here. You know what I'm saying? Because if that wire comes off, like I said, that one's not fused at the block. So if this were to just come off and be dangling and hit ground, well then now you got a big ass problem. Because that's not just you're gonna mess stuff up. That's you can burn the truck down because there's no way to turn it off. Well, I guess there kind of is. You can turn that switch off just the way I did right now. But like anyhow, like why like risk it? You know what I mean? When you don't have to. So we'll just added safety right here. I would have liked to put it red tape just to keep it red, but I mean, I know. I mean, most people will know that it's just to protect the end and for the next mechanic or whatever, you know. You know? Do you know what I mean? Okay. A little bit more tape. This is what I mean, guys, by fixing it right. This is the correct way to do it. You know, the other way was just to get me home. But like I said, I didn't have on the previous video. I didn't have these cable ends, and I didn't have that crimp tool. I just barely. That's the very first time that I ever use that crimp tool. So I would probably have to say that it's definitely worth it. You guys saw. I mean, it was fairly easy, you know. I mean, I had to position it and stuff like that, but with that other one, it was gonna be like holding the block and trying to hold the thing in and forget about it. You know what I mean? It was just gonna be no good. Okay, let me go get another washer and then we'll go ahead and install it. All right, now we're just gonna go ahead and install it. So now we get our washer. Okay. Oh yeah, guys. There we go. Sweet. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten it down. And I'll show you guys here in a minute. You guys saw the previous one on how it was not let's go ahead and let me get some zip ties. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Zip ties, love them. They keep everything nice and neat and organized. And although it's an engine, you want to have stuff that's not going to be rubbing and all that good stuff. I usually get these zip ties in Lowe's. You know, they're like about, I think they're like about like $30 a pack or whatever, and I think it's like 100 of them or whatnot, but they work pretty good. I like them. I'm really impressed with them. they like really hold up to the heat fairly well. Because a lot of these cheap zip ties will, you know, with the heat of the engine, they'll just break. All right, got that in there. Okay. All that's left is just to tighten this bad boy up. I'm gonna put my screwdriver there so this one doesn't move over here. Let's move you over here, buddy. Right there. You stay there. So there you have it, guys. See how now it's nice and flat? It's not at an angle anymore. And that's the way you fix one of those crimping tools. So I ended up spending, I think the tool was like about 45 bucks. And then the fittings were like about 30, but you already saw that it's a whole bunch of them. So if I would have gotten it done at a truck stop, it would have probably been maybe right around $100 is what my guesstimate is. But that would have been one fitting and that's it. Now by buying the tools and investing in my business, now I have the tools with extra fittings. So if that ever happens again, whether it be that particular cable or a battery cable or any other cable that's, you know, needs to be crimped on, I got the crimp tool and I have fittings. I actually have smaller ones in that one, but I didn't have that big. So now I got big ones and small ones, guys. Good to go. Let me go ahead and get the stuff cleaned up and we'll move on to the fuel pressure. Okay, guys, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and remove that sensor there. I'm trying to get you guys the best possible picture, guys, but you know, sometimes it's pretty hard to get you guys a pretty decent picture. You know, so I try to set you guys up the best possible way that I can. But sometimes it's just a pain in the butt, you know. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and I'll put the procedure up to the procedure to test it. Come on, I want to break this connector, then we got big problems. You know, they don't give you much room in these trucks sometimes, you know, to really get on in there. Come on. There we go. All right, so we got that one off. Golly. Probably gonna be in your way a little bit, guys, but I gotta unplug this sensor. There we go. I heard it snap. Now we just. There we go. All right, now we got the connector out. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the sensor off. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and connect the gauge to this port right here. This sensor that I'm removing is your, wait a second, let's see, going this way, so you're, okay, so it's the other way. Remember Lefty Lucy? Righty tighty. There we go. It's going. Still not loose. Oh man, it's starting to rain. God. This stupid rain this week, man, hasn't been letting me do anything. It's been raining all week. And well, when you gotta work outside, I really can't be like filming here for you guys and everything, you know, when I gotta worry about the stupid rain coming down on me, getting the phone all wet, and it's just you just can't be doing this stuff. Come on. Now you're probably gonna get a little bit of fuel, guys, when you guys remove the sensor, guys, from here, because this is the outlet side of the pump, and yeah, so it's normal for you guys to get a little bit of fuel out of here. Okay, now here's our gauge. All we gotta do is just thread this on the bottom. This is gonna allow us to diagnose further. God, this rain right here, man, is making me very, 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 very upset. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and plug this sensor back in. Otherwise, we're gonna have to check engine light for fuel temperature. It'll be okay because we're just gonna run it for a little bit, and it'll just read the. All right, guys. So now we have it running, and as you guys can see right there, that's at 600 RPM. We have like about 70 something PSI. So the procedure calls for, I think it's 600, 1200, 1800, and 2100. And it's always supposed to be 60. So right now we're at 600. Let's do 900. You guys watch that for me there. That's 900. What you guys seen? Then we got 1200. And now we got 1800. Now we got 2100, which is wide open throttle. What you guys see? Let me know. So basically what that test determined is that this fuel pressure regulator is bad. It's allowing more than 60 PSI to get there. I actually have two of them. I have an old one that I had there that I just replaced it for good measure, but I never threw it away. And then I have a brand new one. So we're gonna go ahead and test the old one and see if we could see if it works, you know what I mean? Then if it doesn't, then we'll come on. It's pretty tight fit in here, you know? You guys that work on your trucks know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes these areas are just, there you go, not the greatest to work on, you know? Luckily on my Detroit Series 60, it's right here. On the older ones, it's all the way over there in the back. And you want to talk about a pain in the ass to get to it. Bet you anything that the guys, oh man, the guys that have done it before know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a pain in the ass to get to it. Okay. All right. So this is what the fuel pressure regulator looks like. It's a fuel pressure regulator / check valve. So it'll prevent from diesel from going back into your tanks when you turn your truck off. And it's also the regulator that regulates the actual pressure. So we're gonna go ahead and put our old but new to us right now for the time being. Let's see if we can get this on here and make it work. We'll test this one on. If this one doesn't regulate the pressure the way we want, then we'll go ahead and put the brand spanking new one on there and see what that does. You know what I mean? Okay. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Oh my God. I'm so happy that this one is not like the old one, because because the old one is 1000% not fun to change, just because of where it's at. There we go. Remember, guys, with all this stuff that you guys do, you don't want to hammer that bad boy off, because then you'll strip that T out, you know, that's aluminum, and then you're gonna have to go buy a new one. And the problem is, you know, that's not a really expensive part. I've replaced it before. Man, I think I paid, what did I pay for that bad boy? I think I paid maybe like $30, $40. The problem is to find it. For those of you who've been watching, take a wild guess what's next. Just guess. Come on, guys, guess. Hell yeah. Why am I doing this? Well, like I've told you guys a million times before, if you guys are watching my videos, I do it because it leaked fuel all over the place. And what we want to make sure is that it's not leaking fuel. All right, guys, you guys watch that for me. I'm going to go ahead and fire her up and see what she does. What we want to see is 60. On this particular truck, it's supposed to be 60 PSI pretty much at all times. All right, here we go. It might get a little loud. All right. So that's at idle, and we're still getting 60 PSI. I mean, we're getting 70 PSI. Let's let it regulate a little bit and fill up. It looks like it's starting to come down a little bit. Let's let it oh man, I can't think. I'm doing 10 million things at guys, trying to give you guys a good picture, you know, trying to do just 10 million things at once. Let's let it stabilize a little bit because the truck was kind of cold, so let's go ahead and let it stabilize for a bit, and then we'll take it from there. All right, guys? So you guys watch there for me. I'm gonna go ahead and come over here to the truck. She's still showing 70 PSI. Huh. So let's go up to 900 and see what it does. Wow, that's almost hitting 80. That's at 900. I'm gonna go ahead and let this get to operating temp. I have the manual, and I printed it out, but my idiot ass forgot it at the house. So I have it on the phone. I think it says you gotta let it get to operating temp. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you guys back. Hey guys, so what I'm gonna do is, I haven't put the other one yet, but I know that those fuel filters have probably like about 6,000 miles on them. And we all know that when a fuel filter, as it's getting used, it starts getting more restrictive. So I want to just void that out. I got to go back to the house and pick up some some filters. I'm going to replace the spin-on filter. My truck has the clear one that you guys have seen me change, and also a spin-on. I'm going to put brand new filters on there and then retest it again with that old one. And if that still doesn't do it, then we'll replace it with the new one and hope that the pressure stabilizes, because that's what it's calling for. But it's definitely, as you guys saw in the previous clip, it's getting up to 80 psi, and I think that's our problem on why it's stuttering. It's just too much pressure. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to replace those fuel filters to just void that out. It'll have brand new unrestricted filters, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, guys, so here I replaced the fuel filters just to rule that out, because when fuel filters get used, their job is to filter stuff out, so they'll start becoming restrictive. So I wanted to get rid of that. So I changed the fuel filters out right now. I didn't record this in camera, but I tested it with the one that I had put on, and it's still giving me like about 70. But now I went ahead and replaced it with the new pressure regulator that I just bought, and let's cross our fingers and hope that works. So I had to go home to get the fuel filters. So if you look up at your screen right now, that right there is the procedure to test the pressure. As you can see, it has you do it at 600, then at 1200, 1800, and 2100. And if you can see right there on the right hand side where it says average fuel pressure, it should be right around 60 psi. So hopefully that'll do it. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see what she wrote. Let me go ahead and verify that I did open up the fuel valve. Yep, it's open. You guys can see, hopefully it doesn't vibrate a whole lot, but doing the best that I can for you guys. All right, here we go. All right, you could see it's probably like 62, 64, 64-ish. Right? The book calls for a gauge that's calibrated between 0 and 75. This one goes to 0 and 160. So it might be the actual gauge itself, but it's a lot lower than what it was prior right there. So let's go ahead and test her out. So that's idle at 600. Now we're gonna go ahead and follow that procedure that you guys just saw, and hopefully it looks like it was starting to creep a little bit down. So let's just kind of let it stabilize a little bit. All right, so let me get my test procedure here. So now we're gonna go to 1200. You guys watch that there for me. So we got 1200. We'll hold it there for a little bit. I'm actually using you guys to tell me what's up, because I can't do two things at once. I'm up over here accelerating, and you guys are there watching it for me. Then I just review the footage, and that's how I get my answer as well. Except with the first one, right? Because it was at idle. So that's 1200. Now we're going to do 1800. That's 1800. We'll hold it there for a little bit. Now she wants 2100, which that's pretty much wide open throttle right there. 2100. All right. Now she's back down to idle. Right now she's showing 70 psi. I think at this point it might be the gauge, because if you guys remember correctly on the previous one, it was showing like 80. So it might be that I need to get the gauge. According to here, it says you have to use a gauge that's calibrated between 0 and 75. So it might just be that the gauge that I got is just a little too high. I mean, I would think that it would still work, which it is working, but I mean, it is showing 70 right there. But let me go ahead and review this footage, guys, and I'll get back to you guys, okay?
Hey guys, Gabe coming back at you guys again. So as I was right here editing for you guys, that's the way the editing looks. I was reviewing the footage and looking at the gauge a little bit more closely and everything, and doing a little bit more homework doing a little bit more homework to try to find out if I have the right procedure or whatever. So it turns out that there's actually two procedures for this truck, and I'll show you guys one on the screen, which is the one you guys saw before, which has the 600, 1200, 1800, 2100, and it is supposed to be at 60 psi. But here's the thing, it's an average of 60 psi. Now, if you guys look at your screen now, this is the actual operating temperature, the operating pressure that it shows, and it goes from 58 to 72 psi. So we're kind of right around there. The gauge bounces a little bit because of vibration and whatnot. But I did buy a better gauge. I went online and was able to overnight one for tomorrow. I'm gonna double check it again just to be sure. But this one's digital, and this one's specifically for fuel pressure. And a digital gauge ain't gonna be, the needle's not gonna be jumping around like crazy like this one is. So hopefully with that one we'll get a little bit better answer. But that was probably my mistake right there. So I was like, because if you look at that first diagram, it just says it doesn't matter what the engine speed is, it's all at 60 psi, but it's an average. And then this other one, let me get the paper and make sure I'm fine. Let's see here. Where is it? Let's see. Yeah, 58 to 72 psi. Operating limits at 2100 RPM. So we're kind of around there. But I'm gonna double check it with the digital gauge tomorrow, and then at that point it's just pretty much going to be testing on the road and see how it's going. I still think at this point that I know my injectors, based on the idle speed balance. I mean, I've shown you guys that before. You guys that haven't, check out my other vlogs. It shows you that procedure and whatnot. But the idle speed balance is some of them are negative, some of them are positive, but the ideal scenario on that is to try to get it to zero as close as possible. And I remember that when we did the injectors about maybe 4 or 5 years ago or whatever that I did them, when I did the idle speed balance test, pretty much almost all of them were at zero. It was like 0, 0, maybe one of them was 1, 2, 1, 0 and 3, for example. It was like a lot more at a cleaner line. So I'm still thinking that more than likely right now, those injectors are on the way out. But I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Once I get that gauge, I'll hook up to it again and see what that digital gauge tells us.
Good morning, YouTube. All right, so you guys can see right there, I went ahead and set up the gauge. The digital gauges. I'm gonna go ahead and get on over here and start this bad boy up and see what she's gonna do. Make sure that I didn't leave any tools. Let's go ahead and turn this gauge on. Alrighty. All right, let's start this bad boy up. Uh-oh. Why aren't we getting... Oh, idiot. I forgot to open up the valve. Whoops. My bad. No wonder it shut off. Hopefully we can get it started again without having to use ether. But yeah, that's what happened. All right, baby, come on. Come on. There we go. I forgot to open up the valve. Yep, 74. Let's let it heat up a little bit. Get that air out of the system because I left the valve closed. I'll bring you guys back. So as you can see right there, it's at 72 PSI, more or less. And that's at idle. So that's giving us the maximum pressure on where the operating stuff is at. Now let's go ahead and do that test again of 900 and all that stuff. So here's 900. Here's 900. Now let's do 1200. That's 1200. Let's do 1800. Then 2100.
Hey guys, just got home, took a shower. I'm here laying down in my bed. Oh, my body's sore. I'm tired. So you guys saw that previous clip. The pressure is, I guess, between 70 and 80 ish. So I talked to some more people. I know some people that work on those engines all the time, and they seem to, it's a couple of psi over the spec, but these older engines, because it's still an older engine, sometimes they run around there. I'm really thinking and putting my money against it being the injectors. um I'm gonna do a little bit of homework. I might be able to get some injectors for that engine. I spoke to one of my buddies, and he told me he might be able to get some injectors from Cali, but that are brand new, not remanufactured, because everything you buy at the dealership is going to be reman. So if I can get my hands on some new injectors, brand new, never used, I think I'm going to go that route. But first, I got to make some money because it's just leaving right now. But in a nutshell, guys, that's how you check your fuel pressure on Detroit Series 60 engine. I mean, in pretty much any engine, the port might look different or whatever, but it's pretty much going to be the same process. You connect it to the output port wherever your fuel pump is at, and that's the way you check it. I mean, obviously on these newer trucks that have common rail high pressure fuel, um, it might be a little bit different. But the cool thing about those trucks is normally those trucks actually have a fuel pressure. So if you have the software, the Detroit software, it'll actually tell you right there what the rail pressure is at. So that's cool. But in these older engines, this it just doesn't have a sensor for it. So that's why you have to do it manually. But anyhow, guys, I appreciate you guys watching, and comment. uh I really want to hear somebody else's opinion. Maybe I might be doing something wrong, or see, maybe there's an owner operator who has the same engine who's had that issue before in the past. Maybe you know what the problem is. If you do, comment it down below. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that thumbs button. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.